Have you ever wondered if making an entire bag out of shell cordovan is a good idea? I'll tell you the answer. It's... Today's video is sponsored by SHELL CORDOVAN. Hey, I'm Parker from Stock and Barrel. Ever since I got into the craft and learned about SHELL CORDOVAN, I always wondered what it would be like to make an entire bag out of it. It's been done a few times, but it's not very common because most shells are only around 2.5 to 3 square feet, and it's quite expensive. But I reached out to my buddy Max at SHELL CORDOVAN and asked if he'd like to contribute some shells for a video project, and he was all over it. By the way, I know some of you are asking, what even is SHELL CORDOVAN? But we'll get to that later in the video. So Max sent me about $1,000 worth of shells, which surprisingly is only like 3 pieces. But it just happened to be the perfect amount of leather for a number 60 Western satchel. And as excited as I am to finally try this out, I might be even more nervous. The stakes are high. If I mess this up, I might not be able to finish the bag, and this will all just be a huge waste of time and money. So I'm making a couple changes to the pattern so I can make sure that it'll all fit. Like the gusset for one was too long and I had to break it up into 3 pieces. And then I procrastinated a little bit. But I knew eventually you just gotta start cutting. One thing you have to love about shell, it cuts like butter. And as soon as I got the knife to the leather, my confidence started coming back. Although this is a high-end, luxury type leather, I still wanted the bag to have a stock and barrel look and feel. I like to think that my work would look a little more comfortable sitting in a Western tack and saddle shop than a high-end fashion luxury goods store. So I'm staying pretty consistent with the type of construction that we're used to. Some raw edges, raw interior, heavy exposed stitching, and natural leather tones. It's not gonna be perfect, and that's all right. Michael's helping me out here, and we're both just shaking in our boots a little bit because this is scary. This stuff's expensive, and I haven't worked with this much shell at one time before, so some of the things we're trying to consider are the weights of straps. This SHELL CORDOVAN is only about 4 ounces, and I don't want it to feel too flimsy. I want it to have some heft to it. We're gonna line it with some natural veg, this stuff right here, which is about 4 ounces. So between the 2 layers, it'll be about 8 ounces, 8 to 9, and I think that'll be pretty solid. Yeah, never been this scared to make a bag before. But we got this. Since shell has such a smooth surface, we're using a detail rougher tool to prepare the leather for the adhesive. I know it's cringy, but this way we'll get a much stronger bond and better results for sewing. We're also getting a better, faster bond by spreading the adhesive with a spatula and then tapping it down with a hammer. Of course, being careful not to damage the leather. I'm using a size 92 bonded nylon thread in white for all the detail stitching. I really wanted to go with a beige color that blended with the color of the leather, but my beige 92 was giving us some tension issues, so I ended up just sticking with white. Since shell is only around 4 to 5 ounces, I decided to line the backside of the straps with 4-ounce natural tooling leather. There are a couple ways that you can pair up straps like this. Sometimes it can be easier to glue up wider straps, then cut them down to our 1-inch width. But since we didn't have a lot of extra shell to waste, we just paired them up carefully and did a little sanding to level out the edges. Then of course we're using my favorite tuck locks from Buckle Guy to make the bag easy to get in and out of. Yeah, this presser foot's definitely the best one out of the 3 machines, but it still doesn't let you get right up to the edge of that D-ring, and it's gonna mark it up pretty bad. Hey, do you want to hand stitch this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Michael definitely has the touch for hand stitching. I think we'll have him hand stitch the D-rings and it'll save us a lot of anxiety and stress. Do you think that one looks too close, or what do you think?
I don't know. It's really slanted.
Well, what if we just did the 2-prong like this?
It would resemble the stitching done on the Cobra.
Yeah.
You don't have any like tiger around or anything?
I mean, I have that main thread.
White, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we need a little bit of supplies from Tandy, so we're gonna make a run down there. We just need to see if we can find a different stitching punch and maybe some thread so that we can really dial in the D-ring tabs. I'm always looking for an excuse to go look around Tandy anyway. In person. We needed a really specific size stitching punch and thread to get our D-ring tabs to look right. So after Michael got his finger stuck in one of the thread spools.
Oh no.
Is it really?
Oh, gosh.
We picked up a 2-prong 2mm punch and some 0.6mm thread. And of course I grabbed like 15 other things that we'd probably need, right? Eventually. Oh yeah, look at that. Shane and Mandy in the big leagues. Alright, I told you that I'd explain what shell cordovan is and why it's so special, so here we go. It's a vegetable tanned, world famous leather made of a specific layer of horsehide. It's only found in equine leather, in the butt area of the horse, and it only yields 2 small oval pieces. It's very slowly tanned and hot stuffed and can take up to 6 months to go from raw horse wet salted hides to beautiful finished shells. It's some of the most appealing leather you can lay your eyes on. There are only a few tanneries in the world that produce it. Max's shop, Shell Cordovan, is based in Toscana, Italy, and it's become a real staple for the bespoke leathercraft industry. We encountered our first problem. I forgot to update the pattern and I made the handle a little bit longer on the last one, and I should have updated it. But the handle's too short to reach those, and if we punched new holes to bring them in closer, then our front straps don't line up. Or do they? Could it still fit under there? It's real tight. I mean, it would be pushing the tabs up. And the stitch wouldn't be able to go all the way out to here. What do we do? Like, the only thing I can think of, which I really don't want to do, is to cut a new handle.
Do you think we have even enough length for that? In scrap?
No. We would probably have to just do it at a natural.
What if we took these D-ring pieces and extended them so that the holes remain in the same spot?
So this spot right here is just a little longer.
Yeah, just bring this out on both sides so the holes are the same spot.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then it'll reach.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
So let's make up a new pattern, come up with a new shape for this.
Yeah, we've got enough leather for that for sure.
Let's do it. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think Michael saved us with the new D-ring tab idea.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
But no, this is a pretty safe move. We have enough scraps. Even if he screws these two up, we could cut a few more. Hand cutting these little detail pieces like this are a lot harder than it looks. No pressure at all.
This right here is only like $75 in leather.
Yeah. All right, this is the moment of truth. Pulling off the old ones, and we'll see if the new ones work out.
All right.
It's still not enough.
Man.
What?
I think you were right about the dimensions of it being turned over.
Yeah, it should be half of whatever half of 5/8 is. So maybe we just go full 5/8 longer. Oh man, I'm sorry. You just cut those out too.
That's alright.
This is what you get in the shell world. Actually, this isn't a shell problem. This is just a Parker pattern problem. All right.
P as they say.
A PPP. All right, let's do it. Okay, round 2, the real moment of truth. Recut the D-ring tabs. Made them quite a bit longer. Please. Yes.
That'll work.
Woo! Hallelujah. All right, let's finish this thing. Alright, we're now sitting at day 3 on this bag. It's taken a lot longer than I thought, but we've had to make a lot of little minor adjustments and tweaks to make this thing work. Overall, the bag's turning out really well, and Michael right now is laying down the scratch and adhesive for the back pocket panel. SHELL CORDOVAN definitely has its place in the wallet and footwear industry, but I think there are some legitimate questions that could be asked about whether or not it should be used for leather bags on a regular basis. Is there a big enough market for it? Is it cost effective? Is it practical? Maybe a case could be made either way, but more importantly, this project has helped me get right up to the edge of my comfort zone. I love the exploration of craft, making mistakes and trying something new. Even though it seems detrimental to mess up, ruin a project, or even just make something imperfect, especially one as expensive as this. This is when I make the biggest steps forward to grow and to learn the most in this craft. So to circle back, is it a good idea to make a bag out of shell? I say yes.